Hey ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, welcome back to my channel, Women's Empowerment. So last week's video was about recognizing codependency and how to recognize the patterns that would constitute somebody being codependent. This week's video is going to be how to break that codependency so that you can move on to more fulfilling and healthier relationships ahead. So when it comes to relationships in the beginning, everybody's different. There is no right or wrong way to proceed forward. It's your preference. But one thing I want to brush up on that's very important when it comes to codependency, when you are, engaging with toxic people or unintentionally inviting them into your lives, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they do not allow themselves to heal in between relationships, and that is simply because of codependency. So a lot of people with codependency issues will, leave one relationship and then jump right into the next. And you're just carrying those toxic patterns from one person to the next person. So if this is something you're doing and you're not allowing yourself a healing process, this may be why you're continuing a pattern of toxicity from one relationship to the next. You cannot move on from someone else by getting together with another person. It may be the easy way out, but it is not going to help you in the long run. It's just going to set you back each time. And I don't know that you're really, moving on as much as you're just trying to fill a void or using someone else to replace someone else, and that's actually very unfair to the person that is being used as a replacement or rebound. When you do not allow yourself a grace period of healing, you are engaging in a toxic pattern yourself, and in return, that is something that invites toxic people into your life, because when you are not dealing with the pain, not dealing with the grief of losing someone, and you're jumping from one relationship to the next, more than likely you are actually becoming more and more vulnerable. And one thing that people do that they don't realize they're doing by inviting toxic people into your life is that they start oversharing in the very beginning. Start telling stories about their experiences with these people that they've been with. So-and-so hurt me. So-and-so did this to me. I gave them so much, etc. You're actually just letting that person know just how much you're putting up with from these other people. Not only that, but you are sharing how giving you are, how loving you are. And if you fall into the hands of a toxic person, then they're just computing that data in their heads, especially narcissistic people. When they're listening to you, they're taking in much more than you think they are, and it's not for good reason. They're using it as a tool to manipulate you. And, non-narcissistic people will use this tactic too. It's sickening and incredible. You wouldn't believe some of the things that people do to try to get what they want out of another person. So that's why these codependent patterns have to stop. Now, I agree, it doesn't seem fair to enter a new relationship being overly skeptical, but if you allowed yourself a period of healing, you wouldn't feel skeptical. You wouldn't feel the need to overshare, because you're going to be feeling confident, you're going to be feeling healed, you're going to be feeling vibrant and empowered, and you'll know your self-worth. So when you're talking to somebody and having a conversation with somebody, say on the first date, or you engage with this person on more than one occasion, you hit it off with this person, you're not going to be doing all this oversharing, because you're going to have already dealt with it on your own, or through therapy, or whatever it is that you did to try to help yourself move through that. All right, so how do we break codependent patterns. The first thing that I would suggest is to seek out therapy. Find a counselor, somebody that might specialize in trauma, childhood trauma. Codependency usually stems from childhood. So if therapy doesn't work for you, or if it's not in your price range, or you don't have insurance, I would suggest, going online, trying to seek out psychologists who describe why somebody might become codependent, and then you can kind of start from there and you can do your own work, your own therapy. I would suggest journaling, also getting your thoughts on paper, starting from, the first day that you can remember, as far back as you can go in your childhood. Try to remember what your relationship was like with your parents growing up, your siblings, people at school. Did you feel emotionally supported and loved in your home? Because if you did not, if you were a small child and nobody ever asked you how you felt or bothered to talk to you, or you felt ignored, this is very common and can lead to codependency. The other thing I would suggest along these lines is, if you don't want to journal, do video logs. I used to record myself telling my story through my toxic, abusive relationship, and I rewatched it, and not only did I listen to my own words, but I studied my face and, saw my emotions. And after watching those videos, I knew inside that I was codependent, but seeing myself actually talk about it and seeing the emotions on my face, it really made me sad, but it opened up my eyes to the mistakes I was making. And listening to my own story, I honestly couldn't even believe that at a certain point in time that I was making these mistakes. So another important thing on a journey to break codependency so that you can get into a healthier state of mind for your next relationship is to, find an outlet. Find something that is going to be for you, a new hobby, a support group, anything that you can do to help get your mind off of the grief or the negative thoughts or negative self-talk even. This was all my fault. You can go back and forth blaming you and the other person, but it's not going to help. So just try to find an outlet, keep a positive frame of mind. And when you go into this, you have to know that you are going to go through a grieving process. This is not going to be easy, but if you want this cycle to end, this is something that you're going to have to do. I strongly encourage support groups also. You'll find that other people sharing their stories, it's very encouraging and very enlightening in a way, because it makes you realize that, wow, I did go through that too. Or you'll hear something really familiar and you'll be able to resonate with that person's story. And, the people that have overcome this and describe how much happier they are, it's very uplifting. It's motivational for the person that's just beginning the journey. And once you start to go through this, each day is going to get better. Each week is going to get better. You're going to have your setbacks. You're going to have your days that aren't going to be the best. But in the long run, if you can feel confident within yourself and be alone in your own company, it is so rewarding. It's so worth it. Okay, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope anyone who watched was able to get some tips or tricks that, will help you during this journey. If this resonated with you, I wish you luck. I am rooting for you. You will get through this. You can get through this. It's going to be difficult, but the outcome is going to be so worth it. So I've said this before in my other videos, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a personal message. You can request my email. I'm really okay with receiving messages and helping you guys or answering any questions. And if you also have any concerns or questions regarding a video that you want me to do, I'm really open to that too. So be well, ladies. Love you.